What's happening, guys? We have a murderer, an absolute murderer, a Hydra murderer, folks. This new champion is going to be absolutely fantastic. He's called Beastbane. I think he should be called Hydra Bane, to be fair. So let's have a look at his kit. He is a legendary defense spirit champion, and he is our next fusion. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going for him. AoE decreased defense and weaken is nothing to be sniffed at, but let's go through the skills one by one and see what's going on with him. So let's zoom in here a bit. Stop right there, guys. Click on the link below and get yourself a free Karato Fox Hunter, as well as 4 amazing epics. Here's the exact steps of what you need to do. Log out of Plarium Play on PC. Step 2, click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Step 3, launch raid and complete the tutorial. Step 4, go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Here we go. You'll find yourself Karato Fox Hunter, as well as Uugo, Rector, Drath, Tagoar, and Mausoleum Mage as you progress through the game. That's it. It's that simple. Click on the link, follow those directions, and on with the video. We have Echo Bolt, his A1. So it's going to be attacks one enemy 2 times. The first hit has a 75% chance of placing Hex debuff on the target for 2 turns, okay? Also places a 30% increased damage buff on himself for 2 turns. So straight away, we're thinking that is a solution for being able to target Head of Mischief and being a Mischief tank for Head of Mischief, okay? He has his own unique buff to place on himself. So 2 things there. Hex is going to allow us to target the Head of Mischief as well. So we're looking good so far. That's his A1, so it's not on any cooldown. Now we're on to the A2, and this goes on to a 3-turn cooldown when booked, and that is Wily Hunter. So we have that there. We have attacks one enemy 2 times, has a 20% chance of repeating the attack when this champion counterattacks or teams up with allies to attack an enemy. Will use this skill instead of their default skill as well. And the damage inflicted by it increases by 10% each time an ally is devoured. He's the only champion in the game that has a mechanic around devoured. He's only the 2nd champion in the game, to my knowledge, that has a Hydra specific mechanic mentioned in his kit. The first is a champion that anybody that's been watching my videos knows I'm absolutely salivating to get, and that's Wallmaster Atorium. He actually has a mechanic in his kit based on kills or Hydra head decapitations. So this guy is only the 2nd ever champion to get something in his kit that specifically mentions a Hydra mechanic. And we all know that Wallmaster Atorium is no good for Hydra, right? Yeah? Leave me to my illusions, guys. I'm already annoyed I don't have him. I'd love to have him for Hydra. So, yeah, when he counterattacks, he uses this. When he ally attacks, he uses this. And so that means he attacks twice and has a 20% chance of repeating it as well. And damage increases by the Devourer. So this is going to be a great move. We have to see the multipliers, though. That's the thing. But it's going to be a great move for busting people out of the Hydra's heads. If they've devoured somebody, if he attacks, he's going to get more damage off that, okay? So he has a possibility of attacking 4 times. And let's say you have Cardial or Makaji on the team. If they're doing an ally attack, he has the possibility of joining in with all of them. He'll use that. He'll hit 2 times, and then he has a roll at hitting another 2 times as well. So he can be extremely powerful there. Now, we come on to his A3, and that is Runed Snares. Runed Snares attacks all enemies 2 times, and each hit has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff and a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns, okay? If a target is under a Hex debuff, he places these debuffs before attacking. I already know who I would pair him with straight away. He's going to be the other half of a decreased defense. So normally I like to have like Lydia on the team because she does decreased defense and weaken, or Venus decreased defense and weaken. I like to have my champions bringing both of those things into one skill. There's one exception to that, okay, and that is when I have Michinaki on the team. He's bringing Hex, AoE Hex, and AoE decreased defense. So if you had this guy with Michinaki, he's going to bring the weaken, and he's going to pair well with the Hex debuff from Michinaki as well. He's also going to bring you your decreased speed, and that's 100% chance on a 3-turn cooldown on a double attack. So they're going to pair very well to get your decreased defense, weaken, decreased speed, and your Hex out there. So very, very good pairing there if you pair those two together. The other one I usually or sometimes put with Michinaki is Istrid, because she'll give the increase speed and the turn meter and increase attack and the weaken as well then on her A2. So that's a really good move, very, very Hydra based as well. Now at the bottom then we have Survivalist Supreme. So again, we're talking about that. Oh, I have to move that up another little bit. We have Hydra specific skills mentioned as well. Now, I remember a few years back, they went through this phase of nearly every second month providing you a champion that was a solution for one particular part of the game. And we had them in fairly short order. I think like two specifically I remember were Drang and Helicat. Okay, so you had Clan Boss and Hydra from them two. I thought, to me, that was my view of it anyway. But Survivalist Supreme will ignore life barrier and ally protection buffs. So life barrier, the only place in the game, again, is Hydra. So that is super specific to that. Ally protection as well. There's no other bosses that are going to be using ally protection, I'm trying to think. Unless it comes up in Faction Wars hard mode, guys. That could be a thing. So yeah, that could be a thing there as well. Life barrier could get represented there too. So ignoring both of those is really good. It also gives them a bit of utility in arena, I suppose, with ally protection being ignored, but it also increases this champion defense by 5% for each active buff on himself, which stacks up to 50%. Now, he's a defense-based champion, so his damage is going to be based off his defense as well. So if he's at 150% defense, he also has an ally defense in all battles by 28%, so that brings him up further as well. If he gets an increased defense on himself as well, then you're looking at stacking his defense super high, which is going to affect his damage, which is going to give you a good way to get damage out onto the Hydra heads, to free consume champions, to kill heads. So very much a Hydra based champion, going to be very, very good for just that particular niche. Now, who is he better than? Is he better than anyone? Indeed, guys. Let's have a look. So in the game itself, I stuck on an auto run there for fun. Is Uugo going to get the revive in there, or is it going to die? Let's see before we change over. The suspense is killing me. This is actually a good example of the Istrid. There we have it. So we actually have the Istrid Michinaki combo going on in there. Now, we just got somebody devoured, so that is no good there. Yeah, our main damage, Razelvarg, is gone. So that wouldn't be a run that I would keep in this situation anyway. But usually this composition is good for about 120 million, I think. But alas, this is not one of those times. So yeah, you can see here we have Michinaki going. Michinaki is providing the Hex and the decreased defense. Istrid then is providing weaken, and she's also buffing our champions and being our turn meter increase in conjunction with Shamail. So Shamail boosts her, and then she boosts the rest of the team. So these are the moves that I'm talking about here. Attacks all enemies 2 times, strips all buffs and places Hex, and then attacks all enemies and places decreased defense and also decreased attack on enemies under Hex. So pairing him with with Mr. Beastbane is going to be really, really solid. Now, we also had Hatter recently as well, which was a good Hex champion. That could be also why we're not doing too well. Michinaki is missing a piece of gear, as does happen from time to time. But we also had Hatter recently, so let's have a look at him because he's the most recent Hex champion that we've had released. So if you've gotten him, do you need to go for this fusion? So he has a debuff spread, spreading one random debuff and placing it on champions under Hex. He has an AoE Hex and weaken debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, and an ally attack on that skill as well. And the damage dealt by the ally joining the attack will increase by 10% per each debuff on the target. He also then increases the duration of all buffs on all allies by 1 turn and decreases buffs on all enemies. Also does a turn meter fill, then has a passive as well. Every 10 turns taken, heals all allies by 20% of their max HP. Fear doesn't matter on Hydra, and brings an accuracy aura. So do they actually take the same place? They both bring Hex and Weaken. Hatter brings it better and has a wee ally attack. The buff extension is really good. I'm just trying to think, do we decrease speed? He's a big decrease speed champion as well, and the A2 is unique too, so that is exceptionally good. If you have Michinaki, you have decreased defense and weaken. What other Hex champions do we have here? Because I'm not sure. I think he is good, but I think he's also one of those champions. If I have X, Y, or Z, do I need him? Like, I mean, Tila is another great Hex champion that often gets overlooked. She has a buff steal on her A1, she has continuous heal HP burn on the A2, and she has AoE, Hex and Leech on the A3. Also increases the duration of all HP burn debuffs on the A3 as well. I was about to say, and she has Brimstone, but that's not going to be true for everyone. So am I going to need Beastbane? If I have her, if I have Michinaki, if I have Matrala, if I have Maranax or Scorid, who would be the lesser Hex champions, am I actually categorizing this champion right? Is he a Hex champion? I don't necessarily think he is. But again, there's loads of options then for Weaken. So if we look at him as a Weaken champ, look at all these options that we have. Even Newt has it on AoE. We have Mikage has it. We have obviously Lydia and Venus have it with decreased defense. We have Varl, Sissia, Eastrid herself, who's a fantastic champion and also provides the decreased speed and weaken. But I think the unique selling point is the decreased speed. Okay, it's the combination of decreased speed, weaken, and Hex. Okay. So that is the combination that this is going to be exceptional for. Now, I think the A1 should be an AoE. A single target Hex placement is no good for Hydra. Everything in his kit is based around Hydra. Let me just, attacks one enemy 2 times. Okay, everything in his kit is based around Hydra. He even has that crit damage increase on the A1 to make him a viable mischief tank. All right, that's exceptionally good as well. There's no other champion, at least in my account, that has that has weaken, decreased speed, and Hex at the same time. That's a lot to bring, as well as being a mischief tank as well. If you don't have your Hydra teams sorted, he brings a lot. But I do think they should revisit his kit, and instead of making the A1 a double hitter, they should make it maybe a single hitter AoE. Because there's no point in having Hex on the A1 when you need to target mischief for Hex to be in any way effective at all. So the Hex is actually irrelevant for Hydra on this champion, because you can't place it on mischief, which means you can't target mischief because you don't have Hex on there. So the only way you can actually target the head of mischief is if you have Hex already on the head of mischief, which means he's completely invalid. So there's no point in the Hex in his kit. If that was an AoE, this guy is unbelievable. Even without that, the fact that he brings so much there is exceptionally good. I mean, he's filling a lot of roles. For Hydra, you need champions that bring multiple things. That's why Krisk is so good, because he brings decreased attack, decreased defense. He can be your mischief tank. He brings decreased speed. He brings provoke. So he's dealing with a lot of stuff for a lot of heads. The decreased speed, the weaken, the hex, the mischief tanking on this is also bringing a lot of stuff there as well. So it is a very, very valid champion to bring. But he's not a must get by any manner or means. And I think the A1 changing that to an AoE would just make him that bit more desirable. Because it's silly having that hex on an A1, guys. So that's my read. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm insane with that reading it. But I don't think he's a champion that you have to go out there and grab with two hands. But he is definitely a Hydra beast, especially for any account coming up the way. And I think I'll look at him for my free to play. If I could manage to get him, that would be excellent. But I don't know if I can because we've burned all our resources because it finishes tomorrow. Okay, guys, that's it from me. I've been daithiraids. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.